Hello to you, fellow being. Infinite Spiral here, and we are back again in Kerbal Space Program. So, in our previous episode, we managed to kind of redeem our previous mistakes by going back to Minmus, planting a flag, getting science, and doing all that good stuff. But today we are starting an interesting process. So we've got this contract here to build an orbital station around Eve. Now, we can't complete that contract until we upgrade this tracking station so we can capture asteroids. And that's something we're going to get to in another episode, but I am going to be starting this process. And at the same time, we're also going to be heading out to Gilly. So the basic plan is to launch a combination of the station and the Gilly lander. And just get the station in orbit around Eve, and then take the lander out to Gilly. And that station is going to have a grabbing unit attached to it, so that later on we can bring an asteroid out to it, and then attach that and finish this contract. But that's the basic plan. But before we do any of that, I'm going to go ahead and go spend these science points. So, number 1, we are going to unlock nuclear propulsion. Yes. I have been wanting these nuclear engines for quite some time. These are absolutely the most efficient engines in the game, at least liquid-fueled. I'm not sure about ion propulsion. That might be more efficient. But yeah, in terms of liquid fuel, nuclear is the way to go. And we're also just going to, I guess, spend the rest on this lower tier, maybe? I think that's the plan. Yes? Sure. We definitely want this precision propulsion for something I'm going to be attempting, involving action groups and strange designs. You will see when we get to that. Okay, so we can afford 2 more of these. I guess, yeah, we'll do command modules and specialized control for now. Not too worried about flight, because, I mean, really, that's... in the short term, at least, that's only stuff that you're going to do on Kerbin, and I'm sort of past that point, so I will reserve the flight stuff until we start dealing with atmospheric conditions on other planets, which will actually probably be relatively soon, but not in the next couple of episodes. So, with that done, we're going to go into the VAB. I don't know what that's about. But what we're going to do is just modify the, what is it? That's right, the Icalicious lander. Well, actually, crap, we don't really have something set up for this already. I guess it'll be the Min Orbiter Moose Base that we will alter, or the Moon Beast Station Minmus Redeemer. Yeah. So this, well, maybe. I'll figure it out. But basically, we need to be able to support 5 Kerbals in that station. So yeah, we're definitely going to go with the Min Orbiter Moose Base design as a base. But we are going to make some alterations to it, and I will rejoin you once those are complete. Okay, so this hulking monstrosity is the Gargantu-Gilly Phase 1. And, yeah, it's a little ridiculous. So I finally learned about action groups, so I've set those up because they're going to be absolutely necessary when we get around to the Gilly lander portion. But holy crap. I really hope that this thing works, because that is an enormous fairing. But, yeah, let's get out there and just see how it goes. Totally forgot to see who was crewing it, but it's apparently Jeb, and that will work just fine. Ooh. It's a little bit wobbly. Here goes nothing. Where's that SAS? Alright. 3, 2, 1, lickety launching. Okay. It lifts off, so that's good. Oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and get those liquid fueled engines ready for when we have to make a correction, because that's absolutely going to happen. Got a bit of twist to it, but not too horrendously much. Oh, alright, time to start correcting already. We're not on a strictly vertical path. Alright, trying to counteract that twist. It's not working. Not with this amount of throttle. But solid boosters are in the process of running out, almost done. Throttling up a bit because we're going to tip if we don't. Absolutely need that gimbaling to stay under control. Okay, getting there. Looking okay. This is looking relatively successful so far. And oh god, don't go crazy. Drop those 50. Okay. Okay. Well, let us revert. Well, apparently there were explosions. Oh, because it was tipping and things break inside of the fairing. That's right. So, we are going to go and make minor adjustment real quick. Okay, so I have gone ahead and added some Separatron engines to, or boosters rather, to the tops of just these angle solid fuel boosters. Don't necessarily know if it's going to work or not, but hopefully that will drag some of them away from the engines as the separation happens. We may have to go back and fix that, but we will find out. So here we go. Oh, also I went in and fixed a few of the struts. They were sort of glitched out. They didn't have their symmetry fully enabled. And apparently that has removed that extra twist that we had, so that's really nice. But we're just gonna basically fast forward until we get a successful attempt. There may be a number of failures. Okay, the Separatrons were a dismal failure, so I'm going to experiment a little bit and get back to you when I've got a successful design. Sound good? Great. Alright, I think that this design should do the trick. We now have Separatrons at the top and bottom of every solid fuel booster on both sides, facing the same direction, so all force will be equally pointed outward from the main ship. So, let's just find out, and I do believe, as I said, that this will be the one. Liggity launching! Oh, when you enter the cloud layer, it's so tough to keep this thing under control. Oh, don't tip, don't tip, don't tip. Oh, it's tipping. Alright, that's another relaunch, but let's just see how these Separatrons work, just to be sure. I'll wait till we're done flipping. Oh, the frame rate. So many parts. Alright, so let's just get pointed up again and test the Separatrons, and then we'll revert back to launch to get a more successful one. Okay, and here we go. That is explosive. Oh my word. Look at those things. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, well, we may have to make more alterations, potentially. Let's just get back to the VAB, check the alignment on all these Separatrons, because that seemed to be a problem, like maybe some of them weren't pointed in the exact same direction at top and bottom, and that could cause some serious issues. So I'm going to look over that and see you on the launch pad again. Oh yeah, definitely got some problems with some of these. Okay, this is the final test. I predict success, again. Because, you know, that means so much. Okay, the Separatrons are an utter failure. I failed to account for the fact that they actually do output heat, and all of that goes straight into the rocket and breaks everything all at the same time. It's, yeah, just horrible. So, goodbye, Separatrons. So this is why I don't usually show you the testing phase. It's very tedious, and there's a lot of trial and error, and it ends up being very time-consuming. But, yeah, basically I will see you once a successful orbit is established, because I still have a ways to go. Sound good? Alright, great. See you there. Okay, so I have finally got this beast into orbit, and things are looking good. I'm roughly at the stage of the fuel consumption I thought I'd be. I sort of hoped I'd have more left in these two outer ones, but that's okay. We won't need them, I don't think. So, let us get our maneuver set up for transfer to Eve. Let us find Kerbol. There it is, and Eve is the second planet out. It is the Kerbolar equivalent of Venus. So, we want to burn prograde at the inner edge of our orbit towards the sun. No, not warp. Add maneuver. So, basically, we're doing the opposite of what we did to get to Duna. We want to burn Kerbal retrograde, which is this away. So we're just going to drag that out until it does this. Yes, starts coming in. And Eve is on a... Oh, also, we will set Eve as the target. That'll make things easier. But yeah, Eve is on a slightly different inclination than Kerbin. So we will have to alter that once we get out to our Kerbal orbit. But it's possible. It is possible that we might take... Gimme the maneuver. Gimme. There. But yeah, it might be possible to... also, our maneuver is set up in not quite the right place. I think a little further that way. No? Maybe? Maybe not. It's tough to get it just right because this line disappears, so you'd lose track of Kerbin's orbit when you're trying to change where you're making the maneuver. But roughly there. No. That is absolutely wrong. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, so we want to bring that in, and we might be able to get an intercept on this without the inclination change, but I doubt it. Oh, right, so right now we've got an approach, and it's actually relatively close, so we should be able to catch it without having to orbit for years. So let us just... Oh yes, that is nice. Okay. So we didn't have to futz with this much at all. Let's keep that periapsis in sight and just see what we can do. Alright, so it's not very close. It's at 32 million meters, 32,000 kilometers. But once we change our inclination to match Eve's, that will get a lot closer. So that burn is going to be, what is it? Well, it's not going to tell us right now because we haven't burned on this particular loading of the quick save. But once we get out there, we'll start the burn, and based on testing, you know, obviously these are going to run out immediately, but with this engine, it's probably going to be about a 6-minute burn. So I will start my burn roughly at T-minus 3 minutes. So let's get out to that. We had less than 1 second of burn on that particular stage, so that's, yeah, that's okay. And what's this looking like? Yeah. Almost 6 minutes, not quite. And it looks like we're doing this at roughly the right area, right time of countdown. So let's get a little better oriented on the dot, the maneuver node, and just do this burn for 6 minutes. So, yeah, I had to go through a number of iterations and launch failures. After, I don't even know, probably 20 failed launches, I had to go and fix some things. First, I actually tried launching without the mods enabled, because it seemed like the extra atmosphere that the mods had added were bogging things down a bit too much. My frame rate was just terrible, and it was making it really hard to, you know, keep things under control during the particular stage where I had to drop off all of the solid fuel boosters. And I also found out I was making my gravity turn too early. That was part of the problem. But after that ended up not working, I was unable to modify the ship because of something that had happened with the mod parts versus the stock parts, and so I had to go back and do some stuff, put the mods back on, and yeah, those were the technical difficulties that I encountered, and that was why this episode took so long to come out. But yeah, another thing was that the top stage was just, it was too long. That was causing a lot of problems. It was way too wobbly on this joint here, even with all the struts supporting things, so that was a definite problem. And the major problem with my design was that this advanced grappling unit, I believe it's called, yes, oh, grabbing, not grappling, excuse me. Yeah, the advanced grabbing unit, that's what you use to grab onto asteroids, or unowned objects, as they are called. And I had to put that on this because that's part of the contract. You know, we have to build this Eve station into an asteroid. But when I built it onto the ship, I wanted to put it up on top, but there's no way to keep it in line and have something, you know, attach on top of it afterwards. It has to be an endpoint on the ship. So I ended up just attaching it to the side like this. But I only had one. It was just one poking off the side, and that was causing sort of a massive amount of drag in that direction. The weight displacement was just off. Even though it doesn't weigh very much. I mean, it wasn't causing extra drag because it was inside of a fairing, but just the weight displacement was making it really difficult to launch. And yeah, like I said, it doesn't weigh very much. It's 0.075 tons. Which would be, well, 1/10 of a ton would be 200 pounds, so 3/4 of that's about 150 pounds. Although, no, it's metric tons, so that's what, 2,200 pounds per metric ton, so that'd be 550 times 3, 165 pounds about. So yeah, it doesn't weigh very much, but it's, yeah, apparently still enough to throw things off massively, so I had to go back in and throw an extra one on the other side for no reason at all except to keep things balanced. So that's something to keep in mind. If you have to have something coming off the side of your rocket, make sure you counterbalance it with something on the other side, because even a very small amount of mass that is off-center will definitely cause problems during launch, and also just during general burns. Like right now, it would still be pulling to that side if I hadn't balanced it, so yeah, that's that. Let's see what this is doing. Okay, we're almost out to the moon. And I imagine I'll probably just fast forward through the rest of this burn because we still have 1.5 minutes to go. So I'll see you there. Okay, so we've finished our burn and it's not quite perfect, but once we come out to this ascending node, we will make another burn there to match Eve's inclination, which will be an anti-normal burn. And I don't actually know which direction Gilly orbits Eve, so I am going to have to go back to the Space Center to find that out, just through the tracking station. I might even, well, actually I can just watch it while we are warping out to that maneuver. Also, that maneuver should be on the node, not after it. Oh, never mind. That's the, that's what it's going to be after our burn. So, crap. So, alright, anyway. I'll get this set up and meet back with you when it is relevant to do so. Alright, so we are going to warp to our maneuver. And while we do so, we will zoom in and watch Gilly orbiting Eve, and it is indeed a counterclockwise orbit, which is what I kind of expected, but you never really know. So here we are, and we are warping, and yeah, this shouldn't take too ridiculously long. Goodbye, Kerbin. Alright, here we come. You better anti... Oh, okay. Yes, good. You better anti-what? Yeah, you better exit warp. That's what I meant to say. Oh god, did I seriously forget to... Yep, I did. Okay, we have no electric charge, but we do have a Kerbal on board, so we can still extend things and control things. Fortunately, if this had been an unmanned mission, we would have been screwed. But it's fine. I learned an interesting trick you can do if you are doing unmanned missions. You can actually... Well, I shouldn't get into that. We need to be pointed the right way. We should already be burning. Crap. Yes, it is bad to get distracted by saying things when you are trying to do important maneuvers. Alright, we're just going to start burning. And, yeah, do our best to stay on that. We'll have to make some corrections, but shouldn't be too horrible. And because we're still far out from the target, it will be relatively easy to make any corrections as we go along that need to be made. So let's get out to the map view, see what's happening, make sure things are working right. And in fact, let us just get rid of that and watch the nodes from here manually. I wish it would click just the node. Oh, yeah, might help to be focused on the ship. There we go. Why? That's not what I said. Oh well. Let's just keep an eye on that node while mousing over it. Okay. So yeah, we're still fine. That node has a really wide area of effect because it's such an enormous, area that we're on. Okay, 0.0, we're good. It has been corrected, and we still have not a perfect approach, but a decent one. Eve will be in front of us as we get there. So what we want to do is bring the periapsis in, I believe. So let's just test this out with a maneuver. I think we're going to want a radial in. Yep, that appeared to be just what we wanted. So let's watch that periapsis while we alter our maneuver with the radial in, and yeah, it's doing quite a bit with very, very little work. Yeah, 3-second burn. And yeah, that's okay. 9 million. Let's focus on Eve and see what that looks like. Yeah, it's closer than we need to be. So let's get that maneuver altered. Radial out, I believe. Can we? The focus is bad. I can't look at Eve and hit the radial out at the same time, unfortunately, at least not zoomed in. So yeah, let's just pull it that way a bit and see what that looks like. So we need it to be there. Okay. A little further. It would also be easier to, find this information on the maps or the tracking station. You could find out, I think, the information about Gilly's orbit is in there with apoapsis and periapsis and such, but this will definitely be close enough. So it would probably actually be better to get captured by Eve even further out and then make the maneuvers to match Gilly's orbit from there, just for fuel saving sake. But we've got plenty of fuel. I'm really not worried about that at all. This is yet another over-engineered ship for the mission. But I think it's good. I'm happy with it. I like the way it looks. Did I forget to put... No, I didn't. Okay, I was worried I'd forgotten to put the communication dishes back on, because that was part of the contract. But let us go ahead and warp to that maneuver. Well, actually, it's not something we really need to warp to. It's just a radial out. So let's get pointed that way. And head back to the map screen to do this. And just drop the maneuver entirely. I said out, I meant radial in. So let's just... why? Oh, that's right, we don't have an encounter yet. Alright, so we're starting our burn. Okay, now we've got our periapsis. Let's keep that in view. And make this burn very low throttle. Don't want to mess this up. Okay, get pointed in the right direction. There we go. Alright, so let's bring that up a little bit and get that periapsis on this side of Eve. There it goes. Good. That should do. Oh, that is very nice. I like it. Okay, so now we just need to warp to our Eve periapsis. And I'm pretty sure we don't have any extremely time-sensitive contracts. I am going to go back to the space station and check Space Center, and check that real quick. Okay, so we've only got one really time-sensitive contract, and that's the one that we're on. We have 34 years to complete that, and beyond that, we have another one to complete the Moon 3 course, and that has 84 years for completion, so I think we'll be fine. Nothing's going to expire while we do our mission. So, let us warp over to Eve. Well, before we warp there, let's just test out a... Oh, that's interesting. Oh no! Oh! I'm coming in on the wrong side, crap. Okay, well, I am glad that I decided to test it with a maneuver instead of just, you know, warping straight there. So we need to radial back out and get it back to where it was in the first place, because right now we're coming in on a clockwise orbit, which is the opposite of what we need. Whew, that could have been ugly. Okay, that's better. So let's drop that maneuver and add a new one here at the new periapsis. Okay, good. That looks better. So, retrograde, we're just finding out what the orbit is going to look like in terms of burn. So that's a 4-minute burn. We're definitely going to drop the stage that we're on before we get to that. Can I please drop those? Don't want to look at the periapsis and apoapsis and such. Okay. So, let us just try and match that up sort of closely. Ish. I guess, I don't know, with the eccentricity of it, it might be a little weird, but yeah, it's about a 5-minute burn, so we will want to warp to a couple of minutes before the periapsis. So that's 5 hours 48, 0 hours, okay, yeah, that's plenty of time. So we'll warp to there, that looks good. Okay, and here we are. So, now... Whoa. Oh, I was like, where is Eve? But there's Eve. It just wasn't giving me the little mouse over, you know, extra overlay picture. But anyway, so we need to burn retrograde at the periapsis, which is 35 minutes away. So, I'll just go ahead and add a maneuver there, just to give us the countdown clock. And yeah, we'll just get a very basic orbit and make our alterations from the furthest point that is relevant to do so, because that'll save fuel. So, let us warp to our maneuver. No, let's not do that, because that'll warp to within a minute of it, which is too far. I suppose we could already start burning retrograde, but I'd rather not do it, so we will manually time warp. Okay, and this burn should actually be a little bit less than the estimated burn, because we're going to end up dropping the stage. This is going to be a lot of weight that we drop, and the next stage has the same engine, and it'll just be pushing less mass. So, it should be closer to, I guess, a 4-minute burn? I really have no idea. I'm just sort of throwing guesses into the dark, whatever that means. But let's start that burn. And get out here to check and watch our fuel. And, yep. Go ahead and fast forward for you until we drop the stage and see how things are looking then. Okay. well, the effect wasn't quite as extreme as I thought, so I should have been burning sooner, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. You know, we're sort of already in an extended encounter with Eve, and yeah, we've got plenty of time. We're not even at the periapsis yet, so that's good. But yeah, I will rejoin you once we've got our orbit established. Alright, so we've got our orbit, and still have about a third of our fuel left in this stage. That's not quite as good as I had hoped for, but let's turn off that hold. That's a little distracting with the gimbal. But yes, so now we need to set Gilly as our target and get our inclination correct at the descending node. Alright, a 6-second burn, that shouldn't be too bad. Let's go ahead and work to it. Alright, we went a little too far, and now we're 0.6 degrees off in the reverse direction, so we're just going to make a slight correction, bring it down, and then go from there. I know, this is really basic stuff. Okay, there we go. So now, we want to think radial in, so that our apoapsis or periapsis would match that more closely. I think that's the smart thing to do. Not totally sure. Maybe we should do that out here at the actual intersection of the orbit, but I think ultimately we should have done it straight line through that ellipse. Oh, we're pretty close to it. We should have done it a little earlier, but either way, if we do it right where we are and radial in, that brings it over like that, and then our periapsis should be right there where Gilly's is. Oh, that's Gilly's apoapsis, but still. So with that maneuver, just like that, like it's an 8-second burn, not bad, and then once we're there, then we can, you know, do our retro burn again to bring our apoapsis in until Gilly's periapsis, and then we'll be matched on the orbit. And that's really silly. Why would we want to match Gilly's orbit exactly? We just want to catch Gilly. Silly and dumb. Really, we're just doing this for the sake of the next stage anyway, so yeah, ignore that stuff that I said. This is all very unnecessary for this stage, but it's sort of a fuel-saving measure because the station is already in orbit of Eve, and that's all that we had to do with it, aside from attach it to an asteroid. So, yeah, just double-checking on that. Yeah, all that's left on that particular one is to get it into an asteroid and maintain stability. So, yeah, we're good on that. We just need to get our other thing, the Explore Gilly contract, underway. So we're just gonna burn at the maneuver where we are and watch all that stuff happen simultaneously. It really actually doesn't matter if we run out of fuel at this point. Okay, so that's good. We've got our inclination. And when we get there, Gilly's going to be out here. So I think we should separate that, maybe? Yeah, let's just find out what sort of maneuver we're going to need to intercept Gilly. Alright, so yeah, it's really not going to take much to get an encounter with Gilly. We just need to, you know, burn in the right place and get an intercept with it. It's all sort of intuition-based. I'm not really doing any sort of, you know, correct calculation or anything. In fact, what I'm going to do right now is separate these stages. So I'm actually going to do that manually. We're going to start with this decoupler. Okay, so now we've got this going on, and that station is its own entity. And we're just going to rotate a bit so that we can jettison the other parts, you know, away from it and not into it. Alright, so now we decouple that, and out it goes. Man, that thing shot out there. Bye-bye. It's okay, we didn't need it. It was just there to be disposed of. And now that that's done, we can jettison the... Sorry, I was looking at this empty electric charge. I got distracted. But, yes, we can jettison these shields for the nuclear engine. That is why this thing is so tall and long, because we used a nuclear engine on this thing. Make it super efficient and difficult to land because it's so long that, yeah, we had to put legs and we're going to land the thing sideways. And in order to do that, I've added these, I think ant or spider, yeah, spider engines on the sides. And I have finally figured out how, or at least I've looked into, how the action groups work. So those are set up on their own action group to enable those all at the same time and kill this at the same time. So when we get close to landing, we're going to use those instead of the nuclear engine. And this should be an interesting process. Now, I'm okay using those because Gilly is tiny. It has almost no gravity. But yeah, so that's done. And yeah, we're going to switch back to the Gargantua station thing. I didn't really give it a proper name. And yeah, there's no Kerbals in it, but it does have this little probe core. I was very careful to make sure that that was on there, because otherwise we would have been doomed. But yes, now that we're back here, we're going to just fix our orbit burn prograde so that we don't intercept with Gilly at all. Because the chances of an interception with Gilly seem sort of slim because it's so small and has such, small gravity well, but at the same time, it's also kind of inevitable if you're in the same orbit as it. So, we just do that, and now we've got a nice, roughly circular, huge, high orbit around Eve. So that is done. Now, the hard part. I'm going to quick save right now. Going to activate our atomic engine and set up this maneuver for an interception with Eve. In fact, we might even just do a retro burn right where we are. Yeah. Oh, this thing controls so much better now that it doesn't have that enormous bottom part. That's nice. Okay, so we're just going to do a retro burn and watch this approach grow closer and closer. And I suppose I could have been off of this screen to make sure I wasn't burning towards any debris. But, oh well, everything worked out. Oh, okay, we passed our intercept. So yeah, it didn't take much at all, as expected. So we'll just make a slight correction here. With very, very barely any throttle. Very barely, yes. Let's watch that periapsis. And yeah, we've already gone a little too far. So, it's another. And before I forget, let us deploy our panels. I do not like running out of electricity. It bothers me a lot. Okay, and yes, let us just get a better encounter. Okay, it would appear that our inclination is not perfect, or yeah, we're 0.2 degrees off. You have to be very precise with Gilly, apparently, because it is so small. Just rotating the thing messes our orbit up enough to get an encounter again. But there. Alright, that's good. So we'll go ahead and warp to roughly there. Cannot auto warp so far because we were on the next. You have to look for the right color of line when you're warping to places, because it auto. Yeah, it does things weird. So we'll just manually time warp. That should be fine. Alright, we should be close. Where is Gilly? There it is. Okay. So we will continue our time warp and zoom in right here to our encounter. Alright, we've got our Gilly encounter. Hello, Gilly. I have never seen you before in real life, in person, in a close encounter. So, let us get pointed at retro, hit the map, find out periapsis, And we don't really need to orbit, but I am going to orbit over so we can land on the light side. So let us warp to periapsis and get our retro burn going. Perhaps I should have started this sooner. I did not take into account just how long our burn time would be. Okay, yeah, it's not bad. Not bad at all. We'll have it very soon. We just have to be careful once we establish the thing, because due to the very, very low gravity, it's easy to lose your orbit once you've established it. And there it is. Okay. So yeah, this is... I'm going to do a very minimal throttle, and watch how fast this changes. Yeah. I guess it's not as extreme as I thought, but still. It's interesting. Alright, so when we get to, I guess... yeah, we'll do it at the apoapsis. We will make... Well, let's just manually warp over there. Alright, so we want to burn towards the north, it looks like. Or, no, we came around this side. Ugh, it's easy to get turned around. So I think we want to burn south. I'll test it out, which is apparently normal. Yeah, we got it. Okay, cool. So we're just rotating our orbit down towards the light area. And we'll try and aim for roughly that surface, but it's going to change by the time we get there, so no definite plans, but that looks good. Well, a little further. There. Okay. So now, let us warp to about here. Alright, and now, full retro, just going straight down to the surface. Yeah, we're orbiting at 24 meters per second. That is so slow. Alright, we've got an interception, or a collision course, rather. And... 0.5. Alright, so yeah, we're already falling towards the surface, and not even straight vertical. So little gravity. God, the slightest of maneuvers just throws everything all over, all out of whack. So right now, I am going to, for the very first time, use an action group, and hopefully it's the right one. So right now, these are disengaged, or deactivated, and the nuclear engine is activated, so now I'm going to press the 1 key. And now, excellent, the nuclear engine is deactivated, and the spider engines are not. Oh, I didn't set up the action group fully after adding and manipulating and changing things. I set it up on the initial design. Crap! Okay, well, that's okay. It's not a huge deal. It would be if this was a more sensitive orbit, but I think it should be fine with this particular mission. So we'll just activate those all manually. No big deal. I don't know if there's a way to change your action groups when you're actually on a mission. It might be possible. Don't know. But before we get down there, we're going to go ahead and take all of our science from space around Gilly, which is on the 4 key. That takes 4 different measurements all at once. So we've got our mystery goo observation, our temperature scan. Well, that's not right. We've got both temperature scans happening right now, so we'll reset that one, and an atmospheric pressure scan, of course, of 0. All the things that we already know about our current situation, but whatever. And another thing I sort of failed at was when I set this up, I made the legs pointing the wrong way. So, you know, they're all going to work with the engines and everything, but our hatch is on the bottom. So that's a little dumb. But let us just get pointed at the horizon so that we land the right way. Alright, and time warp to the surface, roughly. Why are we on an escape course? Dear Lord, Gilly has no gravity. We have to burn straight towards it. Screw it. My attempts to, oh god, and we're on the wrong... Dang it! My action groups. Oh, they don't work at all. Okay, well. I think I'm just gonna do this visually. It's really tough to use the nav ball correctly with Gilly. It just doesn't have enough gravity. So, where'd you go, Gilly? I lost you in space. There you are. Okay. So, what we want is to go that way, I do believe. Pretty sure. Pretty sure that's, yeah. Definitely. Gonna rotate just for orientation's sake, because it's difficult with my hatch upside down. But yeah, we're gonna burn that way. And is that, yeah, now we've got an intercept path again. Just a tiny little burn. And probably almost an orbit again. That's looking decent. Burn a little further, just to bring it over to the light side again, after wasting fuel, but whatever. Okay, there's that. Fuel's doing just fine, because the nuclear engine, very efficient. Probably not necessary with the amount of mass that it's pushing. It's, you know, it takes there's a certain threshold of mass to push where the nuclear engine becomes more efficient than the other efficient engine, but it says it has an 800 ISP, so that seems really good to me. But let's just keep an eye on things and go ahead and do a time warp. Okay, yeah, that's working more correctly. Good. Alright, now I don't know what exactly the relative sizes are, so I'm going to go ahead and activate my other engines again right now. And then quick save. And prepare for the landing proper. And also I'm going to activate RCS, because we did finally incorporate some monopropellant and RCS, whatever these, yeah, thruster blocks. Put some of those on, and yeah, crap. When I switched out the fuel tank, I took off the RCS that was attached to it, so we've only got them on the top of the thing. So they won't be super effective, but they might help. At least a little bit. And activate our gears. And those very, very nearly clip with the solar panels, unfortunately. But with the RCS, we should be able to push ourselves, you know, in any surface direction that we need. So, in fact, let us... Not completely familiar with the, I guess they're the docking controls, but you can burn straight backwards with RCS. So, there it is. Okay, it's the N key. And yeah, it's not that super effective. So let us just find our retrograde. There it is. And not burn skyward at all, because that was how we killed our trajectory last time. And because these are so small, they don't work very quickly. Oh, also, we should be looking at our surface velocity. Yeah, these things point straight down, so it's going to look like we're pointing up, but really we're burning that direction. Yeah, you see our retrograde coming skyward. That's what's supposed to be happening. Alright, and a little further. Just until retrograde is pointed straight at the sky. Like so. Alright, now we are falling towards the planet. Let's get our landing legs pointed down and get ready for the landing. Okay, and apparently we are close enough that we can't, what's the word? Warp. We can't warp anymore. Time warp. So we'll do a physical warp, because it is going to be a little while before we get to the surface. Ever so slowly. Just killing off our falling speed, because we are getting close. See our shadow right there. Alright. And we'll take it down even more. We want to land very, very lightly. Because if we hit too hard and bounce, yeah, the bounce will last for a really long time. And I don't want to have to deal with that. Okay, so because of gimbaling, it's, yeah, we've got some sideways velocity again, so we're going to equal that out by burning in this direction now. And let that come down even more. Okay, so that's now the direction that we're moving. Yeah, this might not necessarily be the best setup for this, but it seems to be working. Oh, don't want to burn towards the sky. Why? Oh, that's right. Okay. We'll just do a little bit of this. About there. Yeah, this is all completely visual that I'm doing this now. Just watching the ship in relation to the ground. Alright. That looks okay. Let's get some more physical time warp. Get out of it. Burn a little more. Rotate. Yeah, I thought we were close. And indeed we are. Okay, and we are down, kind of, almost. Yeah, there's that super long bounce I was talking about. Oh, I'm gonna have to be careful on EVA, because I could very easily just completely lose Gilly by using the EVA propellant. I don't know if EVA, or if Gilly even has enough. Let's drop SAS and RCS. I don't know if Gilly actually has enough gravity to completely hold this thing to the surface. Sort of seems like maybe it doesn't. Oh well, we're good enough. So, let us now take the rest of our science. That's on our other action group. Oh yes. The samples appear to behave like they're in low orbit of Kerbin. Yeah, this place has super low gravity. Atmospheric pressure scan. You think that you've got a reading for a second. Nope, just a smudge on the gauge. Yeah, I wouldn't expect any atmosphere here. That's, ridiculous. Only vibrations are coming from the landing craft. They do not travel well through the surface. Interesting. Wow, that's worth some science. Goddamn. And we observe the goo. Fascinating. We are on Gilly's Highlands. God, I hope I can actually get down and, like, plant a flag. It might be difficult. So that's all done, and did we? Yeah, we did get a temperature reading, so I guess it's time for the, well, crew report first. 45 science, yes. Now it's time for the EVA. It's like being in space. Almost. Oh boy. Alright, we're down. Take one step, fly for ages. Oh man. That is quite the arc. taking a single Kerbal step. Alright, well, I'm going to get over here, plant a flag, take an EVA report, and a surface sample, and we're going to go ahead and end the episode here. Sorry it took so long to get out. Like I said, there were some technical difficulties, and it took some time to deal with and get, everything properly set up again, but it worked. We're back. Everything's great. Everything's fine. But, yeah, if you enjoyed what you saw here, go ahead and leave a like. If you'd like to see more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm Infinite Spiral. This is Kerbal Space Program. And we will see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.